Hi, everybody. I'm Anthony Carniello, the director, producer, writer, and editor of this $0 budget documentary called Our Father. This was shot on my phone during the literally at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, when the world was on lockdown, and I was living with my parents in film school, where we couldn't get together to do workshops and all that kind of stuff. And this was done by an assignment. My teacher, he assigned a class that I was in to make documentaries through our homes. It was originally a group project thing, but of course, COVID, we couldn't get together. And yeah, when I was coming with the idea, it literally happened on Good Friday with Father Fred Mazzarella, who was a dear friend of mine that passed away through cancer. And he was a remarkable person. And that's where it hit me that I should do a documentary based on this man's life and how he not only changed my life, but for also gave me guidance to become the person I am today. And this documentary explores all that. This was literally last minute, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'll make a documentary about him since how much he impacted me, and not just me, but also my family. As you can see, my mother, she knew Father Fred years before I was born, so it's literally the first person I came up to interview when I was putting this together. With Father Fred, a little bit interesting fact about him, his biggest idol was honestly Ronnie Dangerfield. He always wanted to be a comedian. He never wanted to always be a priest. But when he became a priest, he always wants to, lighten the mood, tell a joke, to bring a smile on everyone's faces whenever he goes to mass. And so he'll just crack a joke, and he's honestly really good with his jokes. That was something I never got a chance to talk about the documentary, was he had like a Ronnie Dangerfield toy. Like I said, well, you press the button and head moves, and you hear audio recordings of his comedic passes. It didn't serve any purpose to the story, so I had to just cut that out. You could probably tell this is cheap to me, but it was mostly because, well, this is just stuff that I have, old resources, pictures of Father Fred. That's just the memories, but the bond him and I shared over the years. Like growing up on the spectrum, he would always give me the confidence needed to get the job done and that kind of stuff. And he didn't just impact me; he impacted like a lot of my family members, and how he was able to keep my family in a much more stable, healthy environment, and that makes sense. This was filmed again, as mentioned, from my cell phone, and this was also recorded on a little digital recorder I have. So getting this audio together was a bit stressful, especially singing it in. But it honestly, the results were pretty satisfying. This was honestly nominated a few festivals, not a lot. He really helped out uh, Kathleen Crab here, who is my EA, with the struggles, and it would be a crime if I didn't include her in the documentary. And she did in a heartbeat, like no questions asked when I asked her. Getting on the Barbara was honestly uh, amazing. I got a chance to talk to Barbara about the getting her to be a part of Father Fred's documentary. She was really tearing up when we were talking. Like it's his family member, right?
Dad died, and he requested to be closer to my mother.
He did a lot of things for Father Fred, not just with, being my Ronnie Dangerfield and a priest, but he also did a cookbook. He did so many things that not a lot of people or even a priest could do at his time. He made so many accomplishments, was able to, bring all these people together. If the pandemic didn't happen, I would most likely play this at his funeral. And if I was assigned to do this too, it'll most likely be about this. Or even like the pandemic didn't hit, he probably want to get him much more support to help him live longer. Because this cancer, like, it was unexpected. When I was a kid too, when I was living with my grandma, I always hang out with him all the time. He take me to a lot of places for ice cream and all that stuff. But we will always have this special bond, him and I.
Directing them in the right fashion. And he was actually my very best friend.
Tonight I talk to you about when I was assigned to Honduras in Central America. After I was ordained, I was young, 29 years old, good looking, still am. 200.
And of course, he'll teach me the word the word as is coming up, patience, which I want to include the word patience mostly because, well, it is important to me. Well, not just for growing up, but it was also, just to bring the powerful message that patience is a virtue. How can you accomplish a lot by just, learning about that word? And I felt like that it was important for me to include that in the documentary.
Rushing.
Yeah, I had that book, what was that church? Sunday Manual, literally while I was with my grandmother at church. And I thought it'd be important to include that in the documentary.
Without getting frustrated. Patience, you have to stay in control, and it's being calm for oneself, because patience, it's a virtue.
Now, and afterwards scene, the ending, it was a miracle for me to get all that, considering, well, I wasn't allowed, no, none of us were allowed to go to the funeral to see Father Fred. And thanks to, well, my uncle was able to go, and he was able to film all this, and that it just showed it to my family. I even got permission from the priest about that. And when I was doing this documentary, I was like, I had asked this photo, like, this would be perfect for the ending. So again, this is no script, by the way. This is all unscripted. This entire documentary, we didn't write this. It literally just happened. I had to basically put all this together with the knowledge I have, which is editing, but also what I learned at film school, and on top of the workshops that I did from my professor, I was able to include all that footage in as well to put everything together. And top of Barbara's, Father Fred's niece at the end, like for Barbara to bring her on board to the documentary, it makes this even more special, and it passes it towards the next generation, whatever that person may be, or whatever that person would become. Firefly's legacy will live on within family members. In this documentary, will live on to the fullest.